Make a perception check.
Oh no!
Oh, I don't want to.
Oh, thank God. 10.
20.
Damn!
Not natural 20. 10 to 20.
10 to 20. You take a moment, you hear. Zoom has rolled over, and it looks like he did take off his armor.
Oh.
And you heard the creak of the bed as he rolled over. You don't hear anything else.
I don't want to hear this.
I didn't want to hear anything else. I didn't want to hear anything else.
You don't hear anything else.
It was just Zoom.
Yeah, it was just Zoom rolling over, and
Oh.
you saw that he had taken off his armor. It looked like he polished it a little bit.
Oh.
It's hanging on the end of the
It's the
bed.
care of his armor that made him. He's so happy. He's just a flame.
You see his little bit of tousled, dark, black-brown hair over the top of the sheet, which he has pulled completely past his ear. That's all you see. It's just the top of his head.
That's cute. Alright, it's morning now.
It's early in the morning.
And I look at Talavin, like, and then I get up and look for some water to wash my face.
You have to go down to the first floor where there's kind of a pump. Gather some water, and bring it back up.
Okay. I brought us water. Okay.
I'm gonna do the same. Just
Cold water just wash over
That's so
your
good.
face. You forgot what it was like to wash your face in the morning. You could swear his face is sore, and I'm just gonna scrub it all clean, get all the swamp out of it.
God, we need to find somewhere that's not swampy this day.
It's gonna get hard in the swamp.
We're gonna have to find some sprites to save that don't live in this one.
Eventually.
That was Sophia speaking. Because,
The day is yours.
Okay,
What do you wish to
alright.
do?
well, is everybody else kind of still sleeping?
It looks like everyone's starting to come to consciousness. Zoom is still passed out asleep, but you do see Tal'el eventually kind of come out and kind of rub his eyes, kind of rub the back of his neck. See, he looks over and he kind of gives a little half wave. He doesn't look disheveled or anything. Just his wounds look better.
I'll like kind of walk over. Do I see Jen? Like, is she still asleep?
She's still asleep.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of like nod in the direction like away from, and be like, you want to talk for a second? I just want to.
He kind of looks and shrugs and gets
Okay.
on.
And I'll like wave Nora over, just kind of like away from the sleeping people.
That's nice.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to be like, I'm gonna just wake up when I do. Okay, so I'm just gonna be like, so we were gonna walk around. I need to buy some supplies. I don't know if you need anything.
We should sell the crocodile.
Yeah, I was gonna get rid of some of that stuff that I have, and then maybe see what we can find out about our 4
Rubs his eye.
Mm-hmm.
peoples.
Definitely sounds preferable.
I don't know what you want to do. If you need me to do anything for you today, it's whatever you need.
I do have some preparation work. I unfortunately ran through a lot of the vials that I had recently. So I have the necessary materials that I can use. Probably will spend the day brewing if we're going to be here an entire day, guys.
We'll be here today and tonight, and then just kind of depends on the next day.
We leave tomorrow.
And technically, we'll leave at some point tomorrow.
No, I can get a lot done. So I'll do that. And he smiles and kind of glances back at the little kind of woven canopy. You can see that same kind of glowing shimmer that he had gotten initially when he had talked about her, just for a fraction of a moment, kind of happens again. You can kind of see there's that warm glow.
We got to do something about this wing. We gotta do something. I don't know what Sophia's gonna have to pull out of her head, but it's got to happen.
We have to grow his wing back and we have to get Zoom's contact too. This is Sophia and we can leave other.
Yeah, we're gonna have to plot together something. We have to make
It's
like
not like you have a wish though.
I'm not using the wish on that when at least Talavin's gonna have to work for it.
Yeah,
She can't just get it.
Yeah. It'll be more fun to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, very well.
Within the game. Not
Just don't know that.
Because I'm just saying, like, if I'm just like, oh, my wish spell in Sophia made for Talavin is, look, you get your wing back. And then she's like, look, Zoom, you have your tongue back. And then it's like, okay, well, here's all these other people that don't have limbs. You want to do it for them too? And I'm like, well, I don't have that many wishes, I'm afraid. Like, I don't want to get known for, like, making miracles, okay? Because it's not what it's about.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's going to be a miracle if Talavin survives too much longer anyways, but, yeah. But, yeah. So then I'll be like, okay, well, do you need me to get anything for you while we're out?
Any herbs that you can. There is one substance that might be beneficial, or at least I found that it's beneficial when it comes to different kinds of burns.
Okay.
It's called, no. He's thinking about it.
Aloe vera's good. I don't know a lot of the other ones.
It's a mineral. It's a mineral.
A mineral. Okay.
A mineral. Sometimes it's mined in different areas. It's called Trona.
Spell that, please.
Trona. Trona. In the common tongue.
N-I-A.
No, Trona. Trona.
T-R-O-N-O-A. Just
Not
N-O-A.
Trona, it's Trona.
Trona. I found that it helps with different kinds of burns and acids. If I am going to be teaching you about poisons, you need to make sure that you understand how to help neutralize them. I can't have you burning yourself to pieces. If you don't know how to make an antidote, being able to make the poison is going to be the least of your worries.
I know. I'm like, okay.
And any other herbs you might find. If you could find, there's one other. I believe it's called a castor.
Spell.
C-A-S-T-O-R. Castor.
Okay.
It comes in seeds or sometimes a plant.
Do you want both, or does it matter?
Preferably the seed, but I can work with any part of it. It just helps increase the potency.
Copy, copy. Alright.
And he kind of looks back. And he's like, I hope she's ready for this kind of life.
I'm sure she'll be happy wherever you lead her.
More she leads me.
Touché. Alright, it's almost done. I'm ready to go get my bread real quick.
That's right. Yes, if you could.
I'll be right back, but yeah. I'm just gonna like go grab it and then I'm gonna bring it back to the room for everybody to share.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I'll take him.
He goes back, and kind of pushes open the door, and you can see. Actually, make a perception check. You're nearby.
19.
14.
Nora, as you eagerly go outside to go get your morning bread, you're scurrying about. You notice this kind of. You're not peeking per se, but you notice as you kind of glance over. He kind of kneels and kind of crouches and kind of brushes the hair away from her ear. He leans down and kind of kisses her temple.
So sweet.
God. This is the worst.
Why did we bring lovebirds?
I don't know.
Lovebirds. We should have let them suffer. At least then there wouldn't be so much goodness.
No, we're suffering.
There's either sadness for them or sadness for you.
And we chose
Happiness.
sadness for us.
Happiness for them and sadness.
You go down, and as you open the front door, you do see the woman come in. I was wondering if you're going to make it.
Absolutely.
You can see there's kind of like light circles under her eyes. She probably got up a little extra early to make sure that everything was prepped for the morning. She hands you, and it's not in a cloth. There's kind of like this. It's poorly woven, but it's a basket.
She made you a basket.
Oh, God damn. Okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm like, how much do I owe you?
If you return the basket, then it's. She looks. I threw in a few extra rolls. I'd say the same 5 silver.
I'm gonna give her 1 gold.
She looks.
And I'll return the basket. Well, I guess, where can I find you?
I'll be there in a couple of days.
I nod.
Thank you. And smiles and work.
Okay.
And she goes,
I'm gonna go back
run
upstairs.
back. You can feel it already through the basket. It's still piping warm. It's just radiating warmth, and you just breathe and you smell the freshness. And you run up to the room and distribute among it. The moment you open the door, and there's this instant waft of fresh bread. The cinnamon, you can actually see his Zoom's ear kind of twitch as his head turns towards the cinnamon involuntarily. His eyes open.
And I'm gonna kind of walk over with one in my hand.
His eyes get big as he.
And I just kind of
takes
reach
it.
it out.
He kind of pulls it under the covers. just barely kind of rests on the covers as he eats. Kind of smiles and.
And then I guess I'll lay one out on the blanket for till I don't know if they're out or not. So I'm just gonna lay it there. If they want it, they can have it.
It's like a huge.
They can eat what they want.
Yeah, you go over. You can make a perception check if you want.
Are you okay? Are you still an 11? My perception too focused on bread.
You set the bread over there. You hear a little bit of a light giggle. You go back.
Okay.
And then after about 5 minutes or so, she comes out and she's braiding her long red hair, just one after the other after the other.
I literally just FYI, I totally envisioned Jen as a redhead. I don't know why, but just in my mind, I was like, she's a redhead.
She's fishbone braiding just all of her hair, just cascading all the way down. Good morning.
Good morning. Did you sleep well?
I did. I had so much reading I had to get done, but eventually he came and got me. It was, I don't even remember when he extinguished the flame. Kind of gives him a scowl. It's like, it's alright.
And I was like, well, there's breakfast, but me and Nora might be headed out for a little while. So you all are free to whatever you want to do.
Alright, he told me a little bit about that. You're going to possibly bring back some herbs and things?
Yeah. Is there anything you might need?
Thanks for a second. No. He kind of looks over at him. He's like, we're fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna start getting ready.
You all
take
get
my
ready.
weapons, and I'm gonna
take my everything.
And then I'll have my bag of holding because it has all my stuff in it.
It has everything in it.
So yeah, I do that, and then I'll kind of look over at Zoom. What is he doing?
He He is happily eating the cinnamon bread.
Okay.
The swirl of cinnamon bread. He's just admiring every single swirl. Just marveling at the warmth. A warm breakfast in bed. He's never had that before, you realize. He's never had a warm breakfast in bed. And he,
I'm so glad I gave that to him.
and you can see at one point, like, out of the corner of your eyes, you're talking with Tal'el, you see him kind of, like, do this. And he's, like, tucking himself further in so he can, like,
I was going to ask if he wanted to join us, but I guess I won't now.
As he sees you all getting ready, he gets up, he looks at the bed longingly, but he...
I'm like, if you want to
pushes
stay,
himself up.
you can.
Shakes him.
Alright.
Begins getting together the armor, kind of sees the way you all are dressing, kind of takes the hint and just kind of puts it on over top and is careful with every single strap, make sure that he's tying it correctly.
I appreciate his care.
Before he puts on his armor, though, he does go over to the cold bucket water. He looks, dunks! Dunks his whole head, sprinkles water. Takes it, kind of shakes it out, and goes and tries and dries it off with just kind of a nearby piece of cloth, and dries his hair quickly. It's kind of flips out just a little bit.
So cute.
He goes over and puts on his
I am definitely trying to braid his hair one day. It's gonna be just straight facts.
I bet you can make Adriel let him, or get Adriel to make him let you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, Adriel, get him to the ground, I'm braiding that hair. Okay.
He gathers up his things. He gathers up his longbow, kind of attaches it. And then he gives a nod. Kind of gives a little nod to Tal'el and Gen. He's like, be careful! She smiles.
Enjoy your day.
They don't say anything, is there?
Okay, we're gonna leave now. Lock the door.
Let's see. So, can we ask the tavern owner if she wants to buy some crocodile meat? Because I know that they do serve crocodile here.
Okay.
The last time. We can see if she wants to buy some.
Okay. That's fine. It's all dried. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you carved any off of this. Or no, wait, you did.
No, I did. I carved
20 pounds each. If I remember correctly.
No, I did. Hold on. I wrote down something wrong.
Yeah, because right now your
In
bag
the
of
back.
holding is full.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
You all were anticipating that you would need to travel all the way back.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should talk. How much meat?
Okay, so I did 60 pounds of dry meat to sell. And then I did 20 pounds.
Wasn't it 20 pounds for each of us?
Yeah.
You got 20 pounds for each of
Okay,
you.
maybe we shouldn't sell
Just
it
in
then.
case.
We can go sell the bones.
We can sell that stuff, and then I'm going to see if there's something besides crocodile to eat. Because then I'll sell my bit. I don't want it.
Alright, maybe the potion guy would want to buy it. Buy some of them.
Okay.
Or we could set up on the corner. Crocodile bones, anyone?
That's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can go to the potion dude again. The Emporium guy.
Just to see if he wants to buy some bones. Because I don't really need any more potions.
Yeah, I want to try. Because I think the one I bought was like one of the lesser potions, right?
Yeah, maybe he'll have the herbs too.
Yeah.
That Tal'el needs. Okay, the potion. The
You all
not
head
sarcophagus,
south?
the Sphynx.
The Sphynx's Emporium.
Yeah, that's the one.
You all head out early morning. You can still see a little bit of your breath, although it's not as pronounced as before. You kind of get... And you almost missed it, but not really. The smell of civilization once again. By comparison to the swamp almost smells better in the early morning.
Mm.
But there is a natural warmth that comes, and your boots are not soggy as you take your first step out onto the streets.
Oh, that's nice.
The day is kind of overcast already. You'll walk down the road off to the left-hand side and see the Sphynx's Emporium. You try the door and
Damn.
it's locked.
Oh, it's morning.
And you wait a minute, do you know?
Yeah, I'm up.
Take a little knock. And then you hear. And then you hear.
Damn.
And then the door swings open and you see the dwarf standing there. He's, his hair is a little bit more disheveled this morning. It looks like he was in the middle of braiding it. And one of his fingers one of the strands of hair is just kind of tangled in the rings that he wears around his fingers. Probably forgot to take them off. And he's like, "Oh, good morning! Oh, good morning! Oh, come in! Don't let it all the heat. Come on!"
Okay, we walk in.
Comes in, all three of you step in. He shuts in, kind of just kind of grabs at the braid and just kind of pulls the ring free. Just kind of pulls those strands of hair. And it's pesky. What can I do for you?
Well, we might be interested in buying some things, but we're also selling some things.
That sounds marvelous. Come along. And he kind of gestures. He kind of waddles behind the counter. It's like, do you need me to get anything from the back? Do you need me to grab something? What are you interested in selling? What are you interested in buying?
So we have some crocodile hide, teeth and claws, and maybe some scales as well.
Do you have any knuckle bones?
Oh shit.
I think you do.
I don't remember if I got them. I don't remember everything. I don't think I wrote down. I think I got some of the smaller front bones when I got the claws. I think I just ripped the whole thing off.
For the crocodile?
Yeah. That was way too far back. Yeah, it just says like 6. It's like six front claws / ripped off. I just have like ripped off, like kind of like the whole. I don't know. I didn't really like specify because I was writing it down kind of quick, so I'm not totally sure.
So yeah, you'd probably have some of the upper
Okay.
tarsals.
And I just pull out what I have via like claws.
You
knuckle
reach into the
looking.
bag. He's like, you're using it. How well is it serving you?
Yeah, brilliantly.
Marvelous. And all right, let me take a look. And takes it. And, he pulls out these like several rimmed glasses as he sets them on his nose, and he begins looking. No. Yes. Looks. Yes. Do you need all of this one? He snaps it in half. Sets half from one side, half on the other. And you had 6. He looks at the last one. Yes.
Okay.
How much for this? He takes off the spectacles.
No. I don't, well, I mean, I guess I can go all the way back.
These particular knucklebones, I can give you 5 gold for the lot.
Let's see how much I sold them.
Knucklebones are sometimes an interesting commodity, especially for those who are interested in scribing and fortune telling. Personally, I would rather have more exotic knucklebones, but get them where you can.
So technically, we sold the claws for 5 for 20.
So it was 4 gold each. For a claw.
Yeah, we could probably just take the 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of nod. I'm like, that sounds reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of put the rest of it in my bag.
Yeah, you just have like a bone in there.
That's fine.
You wouldn't happen to have any more exotic kind of knucklebones, would you?
Well, one day we
do.
What?
A Manticore.
I'm sorry, what?
We have Manticore.
You see his eyes.
I totally fucking forgot about the Manticore!
Yeah, because we got all 10
eyes. He kind of
20.
leans back.
I literally totally forgot.
Because I got like a nat 20 during that.
Oh my god, I don't think I have a single no idea. I was about to be pissed. I was about to be pissed.
Down.
Yeah, I was about to be so pissed.
You read it all.
Okay. So I'm gonna be like, actually, we do have a few things from a more
He heard her say Manticore.
fascinating beast. We did slay a Manticore
Oh,
a while back.
He kind of leans in. You can actually see he kind of grabs a stool and kind of pulls it up and sits, kind of resting his hands on his chest. And like, tell me about it.
What would you like to know?
Everything.
Well, he was a vicious beast.
Oh, I believe it. It was horrible creatures.
Just positively malicious.
Do you want some tea? Oh, I delivered that story over tea.
I will say that he was quite a... What's a punning word that we can use? I would make a pun, Mackenzie.
Make a pun?
Make a pun, Mackenzie. He was quite the catch. That was terrible.
He's just gonna give you this look. He's like, how'd you kill it? How'd you get hold of the bones? Did you find it out in the swamps? What was he even doing there? They're usually a little bit harder to find in these areas.
Well, he happened to have a few friends with him that
Oh, how many?
attacked our camp. And
That's just rude.
ended up on the wrong end of a dagger to the throat, per se.
I'd say you ended up on the right one if you managed to get rid of him. Let me see these knuckle bones.
And so I pull out, so I have 14 claws, and I'll just pull out that, and I'll kind of like set it out in front of him.
And sees the claws. And you had the natural 20, so you got all the way
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
And so he takes a look, and the claws almost attached to the bone itself. So it kind of almost has this almost chopstick with a hook kind of look to it. He begins examining each one. He takes out his glasses again. Yes. Oh, they always tell me to not look so eager, but I cannot help it. He comes through, and he goes through all 14 and kind of puts them all in a pile, and he takes off his glasses. He's like, these are very valuable, especially to the right people who know how to inscribe and fortune tell.
Yeah.
It's like, will you be staying in town long? Because I could pay you up front, or we could make a better deal.
Depends on the deal.
We start.
And I kind of like lean forward a little bit, and I'm like, depends on the deal. What do you have in mind?
Each one of these, depending on the right buyer and whether or not they're able to haggle me or not, this can go for 65 gold apiece. He kind of rolls the bone.
Each one, 65 gold.
He nods. He's like, depending on the right buyer. Now, they need to be cleaned up a little. They've got a little, he kind of bends one of them and you can still see part of the joint. And it's like, they do need to be cleaned up, and some of them like it, some of them don't. I'm not holding that against the price. I could pay you 50 gold apiece. Or, with a little wheeling and dealing, I'd put this price at 75. See who is drawn in by this. Possibly we negotiate. Go to 65. And you all get the profit. We split it 50-50 at that point.
Since we're leaving the next day, we're leaving tomorrow,
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should just take the flat rate, because then there's no telling how long it would take to sell the rest of them.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of sigh, and I'm gonna be like,
I know, it's lost gold, but
as interesting as that is, I did forget that we are leaving tomorrow, but I will keep this in mind for the next time. I may or may not.
Oh, hopefully you never come
across.
across another one of these again. They're vicious, vile beasts. Very manipulative, very chatty.
With my luck, you could be it any day.
Do you prefer gold or platinum? As he takes all the bones and Gets them in a nice tight bundle, and he looks very excited.
I'll say. He said, let's
It's
see.
gonna be 700 gold.
Oof. How many platinum would that be? 70?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the platinum, baby. Platinum.
Very well, very well. Unfortunately, I don't have, more than 70. I try and keep some in stock, but if you only want to be paid in platinum, then we might run into an issue.
No, that's totally fine. Gold is fine
He
as
goes
well.
and puts it into a box and kind of closes it, mutters a few words. He goes behind another counter, opens up another box, and counts out 70 platinum and sets it in a pouch on the table in front of you.
Cool. Do you want to split it 50-50? Well, I guess Zoom is that.
Yeah.
Zoom is kind of looking there, and he kind of like looks and he's like,
I'm gonna be like, we all share.
Okay, let's see. Then you can't
Don't argue with me. Let's see, we'll do. Because if we really want to split it, I get all of it. I'm just kidding.
You get 23. Actually, yeah, you did kill him.
Yeah, but it's okay, I share.
Okay.
I took all the gold that I found off the orc, so I feel okay about it.
That's okay.
Okay, so we'll do, let me see.
It would be 23 and like a third apiece. 23, 3 gold, 3 silver, 3 copper.
I'll take 27, and everybody, you two get 23. Just because. I get a little more. I get it.
27, 23.
No, I'm not.
That's right.
Plus
Maybe
23.
24.
Plus 24.
23, 24.
Okay, I don't know why my calculator was doing that. I'm done with that math today. Fine, yes, I'm sorry. That was my fault. I was like kind of looking at it, and I was like, I be it wrong. 4 plus
4 plus
1
24.
is 5. I told you my math today, not good.
It's alright. It is getting a little late, but
I was like,
I'm not done yet.
Okay, okay. And then I say, we have a few other things from the Manticore if you might be interested.
Absolutely. What is it? What is it? Don't leave me in suspense. He kind of leans forward on the chair.
We have 20 vials of blood. We have a few tufts of mane. We have some spikes. And back in the... I'm going to say I didn't bring it with me because...
You didn't bring warrior.
Yeah. We have the hide and a set of wings. Along with a few teeth.
Looks you all are going to run me dry, aren't you?
We don't aim to. And I will say I'm pretty sure the wings and the hide were pretty...
You're in pretty good condition.
Pretty good condition.
I'd be interested in some of the spikes. I can't entirely clear you out, as I always try and keep a little bit of money on retainer just in case.
Understandable.
If I could get some of those teeth. Some of the spikes, for sure. And how much of the pelt are you willing to part with? Say 5 square feet.
Yeah, they could be willing to part with the chunk. How many spikes and teeth would you be interested in?
You have 7 spikes.
Yes.
I'm taking 7 spikes. How many teeth?
56.
56. That's quite a hefty sum. Goes looks through his book. Should take 20 teeth. Just to be on the safe side. You can always crush them and do interesting things. And then the pelt. For the teeth. You say... Say 400 gold for the teeth.
So you wanted 20 teeth, so that's 20 gold per tooth.
I nod.
He goes, places the things on exchange. For the spikes. What condition are the spikes in? Is it alright if I see them?
I pull the spikes out. I mean, she did it, or one of us did it.
You didn't, but you did.
Yeah, I did the spikes, but I actually rolled pretty hot on that one. I
Alright,
think so.
he looks. It's like this could be crafted in so many ways. What did you say? 65 gold per. As he kind of looks on the inside. He's like, I'm going to have to clean these.
It's 455 gold.
That's fair.
I say that's fair.
I mean,
Goes through
what?
his
We're
place.
probably gonna go and
Here's
they're
that.
like, oh, that's so expensive. Like, anyway, but we still have other things to sell.
Okay. And then the hide.
Takes those off. Exchanges the money. He's like, and you said it was in good condition, yes?
Excellent.
Oh.
But I will have to go back and retrieve it.
All right. Well, whenever you go and retrieve it, I'd say 5 square foot.
So like a 5 by 5.
Okay. Oh, that's not very big.
It's kind of big.
5 by 5? Oh,
5 foot. I mean, I'm not like
thought you
literally.
guys were
That'd
like-
be like a 5 foot by
I
5 foot.
wasn't listening, I was just looking.
That'd probably be about half.
It'd probably be like half of one side, because you cut it down the middle and then kind of tore it up. So like there's kind of the underbelly, the side, and then you would cut it
So
off.
we have
at
about
the
how
end.
much of it left?
How many yards did we say? How many yards there were? You would still have like 3/4.
I don't
of it.
think we
you would at
put
least have
how
3/4.
big that was.
I think
No.
you would still have at least 3/4, if not more.
Okay, so we still have 3/4 left.
Do you think we should sell part of the menu? Okay, no,
You can
never
keep
mind.
it. I mean, on it, like he didn't say anything, but I might ask
He
him.
just said the pelt.
I might ask him about prices for some of the other things before we go. But I still want to look around and see what he has. So do you say a price for that? Nice.
He didn't. You were asking a couple questions about it. He thinks. What would you say to 400 gold?
That's you said that's about a quarter of the pelt.
Quarter of the pound. I suppose. I'm not very good at haggling. I feel like he's going low and that we could haggle higher.
I'm gonna kind of like. I'm gonna be like, well, it is a beautiful pelt as a whole. I was thinking of turning it into something myself.
You don't have to sell it if you don't want to, granted. I mostly wanted something to help make something myself, but if you're unwilling to part with it, that is totally understandable. Although, 400 gold.
I would part, because that would take up almost nearly a quarter of the hide. I'd be willing to part with a quarter of the hide for 500 gold.
Make a persuasion roll.
Damn. 18.
And then he looks back at his books. Done.
Okay.
Ooh, wow.
He shakes your hand. He's like, I expect it to be in good condition.
You will get the best part.
Good.
Okay. Now,
And he's like, unfortunately, I don't have any use for the wings or the other parts. At least not at the moment. But if you come across something, this right here will get me very good commission for some interesting items.
well, you seem to know a bit about pricing exotic creatures.
Yes. I'd say I know some things.
Have in the past come across a set of Manticore wings. A very nice set. How much have those gone for? Have you seen?
It depends on who you're selling it to, you see. He kind of brings you forward. And no one else is in the entire story. So
But I'll lean in.
like, if you take it, for example, to someone like me, a collector and purveyor of magical and oddity things, you're more likely going to have to haggle in order to get the price. Someone will see that and want to use it for potions and for capes and other enchantable items, as these particular fabrics can be enchanted.
No.
So if the entire thing is in very good condition, you probably get one wing for maybe 1,000 gold. If the entire wing, mind you. If you take it to a smithy, though, they can make a great many things that can actually be turned into armor, you see. It's a very tough, very thick fabric. The wings are.
Okay.
And you can turn from there, they're enchantable. Many different things are enchantable, but these particular ones would be a lot easier to enchant. So, by taking it to a smithy to make some kind of armor, which can immediately be turned around and enchanted right off the gate, well, you can get up to probably 2,000 gold.
For a wing.
For a wing. For a single wing.
Wow.
But this is if you're, again, talking to the right individual. If you go to, say, the next town over, if you go to Pathstone, they're going to only be able to offer you maybe 12.50 for a wing. Take it to one of the bigger cities outside of the swamps. You're bound to get much more. You're more likely, actually, if you have a little bit on display, as long as no one tries to come by and steal it, you're most likely going to get into some kind of bidding war between the smithies.
Ooh.
If you play your cards right, mind you.
I'm gonna nod.
Moves his glasses and puts it back.
And be like, well, this is much appreciated information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And always appreciate return customers. Unfortunately, there aren't as many as I would have liked as the crocodile season has gone up.
Okay.
Well.
And then one more question on selling items. I
Yeah.
do have a few vials of blood.
Yes, I was going to buy some of those. I have 3 vials for... how thick is the blood?
And I hold one up and I kind of swirl it.
No, this has been in the bag of holding, mind you.
Yes.
And so it has congealed a little bit as you you try and swirl it, and it kind of has this.
It's been, I will say that we did kill this almost 4 days ago.
Yeah. It was something
He
like
takes
that.
it and shakes it, and it kind of like Jello. Just it has a kind of the same consistency as a liquidy
There's
Jello.
really no way to I mean, I guess unless we put it
There's-
on literally ice.
If you put it on ice.
Yeah, okay,
And
I'll remember that for the next
He
time.
taps it, spins it around. Not that it's lost its potency, but it becomes more difficult to work with when it's in this particular
I
form.
understand.
Liquid, easy to pour. This requires a little bit of finesse. He sets it down. For 3 vials, you say to a nice even number of 90 gold. 30 gold apiece.
That works.
I know.
If
Especially
it-
since he gave
he
us such
looks
good
and is like,
information.
Mm-hmm.
If it were in liquid form, as he's fishing out the gold and taking the vials of blood, if it were more liquid, mind you, you could probably get it at least for 50, if not more. Again, depending on who you're talking to.
Okay.
Was that the last thing?
Yeah, for now, I think that will be good. And then I'll add up that gold. We can just distribute it.
And then we needed to buy some things.
Yes. Feel free to go and peruse.
What were the 2? It was Al. No.
It was Trona.
Trona.
We're looking for a mineral and an herb specifically.
Yes, I might be able to help.
But we'll definitely take a look at more than this if you have it. But specifically the mineral Chirona and an herb called castor.
Castor. I'm familiar with castor, but Trona is a little bit harder to come by in these particular parts. You're going to have to go to probably one of the mining towns a little bit further northeast of here.
Okay.
But I do actually have some of the castor. And kind of goes over and has a kind of like a jar, and you can see like a few hundred, maybe probably close to 1,000 of these seeds in this jar as he kind of
Okay.
Yes.
Like, I managed to salvage these from some of the other plants that I had, and he kind of unscrews it and shows you the contents and recaps the lid. Like, about how many would you like?
I wouldn't ask him.
He said
Probably
they're pretty
not.
important though, so especially because he said it helps,
Stop poison.
yeah. So
Oh, that'll be helpful. Just
yeah, in general. What are you selling it by?
Usually I try and sell it by vial, much like some of the potions and other things, but depending on the size of the vial, he shuffles over from behind the desk and waddles over to the place where you had bought the vials before, and there are some mismatched vials, and he kind of takes some of them, kind of looks, and takes a couple of the smaller bottles, and he's like, I have these vials here, if I fill this batoon here, most
How big
likely,
is this file? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying.
it's probably
So is that like a medium?
like a
size
test
file?
tube.
like a test tube.
Would that be considered a medium or a
That
large?
could be a small.
Oh, okay.
It would be considered a small. And
Okay.
he's like, for something like this, for these particular ones, as I took very great care in cultivating them, it's hard to grow anything in this particular time of weather, as well as the ground. Uncooperative and stingy. I try and sell these each for about 20 to 30 gold.
That's not bad.
I try and shake them down a little bit and make sure that there's plenty.
And how much for a medium?
He takes what looks essentially like one of the potion jugs, the one that you were actually thrown, with the healing potion.
Yeah,
It's kind of a thicker bottom, a little bit of a rounder top. Actually has a nice cork. It's like, something like this was more likely to go for a 60. It holds a little bit more, 60 to 75, depending on how many I get in here. Mm-hmm.
Let's get a medium one.
I mean, if we got a large for the well, I guess a medium will probably be fine for now. For 3 of us, we could split it.
Yeah.
We could split the cost.
Probably.
Okay. We'll take a medium.
Takes it and begins kind of filling it.
Do you have any other mineral or herbs here?
Since you all have been in here, nothing else new has come. I do have some sunflowers somewhere. I think they're drying in the back. Sometimes they're good to chew on, or sometimes they're just pretty to look at.
How much for a sunflower?
Oh, that? For you two? How about a silver and a smile?
I'll take one.
Aww.
I'll smile.
Smile. I like
Okay.
Yeah, pours. And it's filled right to the top as he shuffles and corks it. This will be 75 gold. And it's filled right to the top. He almost had trouble getting the top of the cork in.
Okay.
Re-screws the lid. He's like, you sure this is going to be enough? What exactly are you using these for? Taps it. As
You could
he
say
takes the silver and
antidotes.
two
looks,
poisons.
you don't want to be using that for antidotes.
I guess to like
He goes in
prevent.
the back.
I don't really remember what he said exactly. So
After, about 30 seconds, he comes back out and he just has this 3-foot long, magnificent budded sunflower. As he comes out and he sets it on there. It's a nice strong stalk and they're just nice and bright.
This is nice.
So it's 37.5 each.
Okay.
And plus I'll do the silver
That's
and then
37 gold and 5 silver.
yeah. Okay. I'll do 38 because I don't have any silver. I only have 1 silver, which I'm gonna put down for the sunflower. So I'll do 38. You do
He
36.
takes it.
Okay.
Okay, so then, what do we do? So we have one medium bile caster.
He kind of looks for a second and is like, if you're going to be working with potions and so forth, you might want to get an extra, which I'd be willing to throw in at a discount. 55? As he holds up another, medium-sized vial and just throws it around.
That's pretty good. I nod.
Whatever.
Even if we don't need it, we'll just eventually.
I'll do 26 this
Fills it.
time.
Shuffle.
You'll do 27. Okay, so that was 38. The last one. And this one's 27. And then I did my last soggies. Okay. You wouldn't happen to have any more interesting items like I retrieved last time?
Oh, I've been brewing a little bit more. Here, he goes over and he takes, you see several potions kind of hanging along the shelf. It looks like he redid the shelf recently ever since he managed to get that crate of potions shuffled away. He goes over and takes one off and you can see it's kind of this, it's almost clear, but there's this little hint of blue swirl to it as he spins it around. He's like, this right here is an oil. You apply it to your skin and, as you go into, parallel universe. That's it.
You wouldn't happen to have anything for regrowing limbs, would you?
I have healing. He kind of points over and you can see they're kind of stacked there, some more healing potions. What are you trying to grow back? Are you trying to grow back a toe, toenail?
A tongue and a wing.
Oh. What kind of wing?
A sprite wing.
His eyes kind of widen and thinks for a second. He's like, I don't know anything about growing those things back, but you wouldn't happen to have a fragment of those, would you?
No.
I shake my head. I'm like, no.
Make exception checks.
Oh, shit.
It's not like he can do anything.
I don't know. He could, search us. Oh, no.
19.
8.
Cool as a cucumber. He kind of looks at you a little bit curiously. He's like, well, they are very potent, very powerful, can be added to certain things to amplify them. If you ever happen to come across one, that is.
I'm slightly intrigued. I'm gonna kind of lean forward a little bit and I'll be like, no one's come through selling any recently, have they?
Actually, there were a few individuals who were selling.
Good call.
They were bits and pieces and fragments, nothing really usable. But there were some few individuals. Why, you happen to know them?
Well, we were actually trying to find them for this exact reason. We were hoping someone in town, we saw them recently, but were unable to get a hold of them before they left. And we were wondering if anyone knew where they were headed.
Yeah, no, they wanted me to buy out some of their items, but none of them were usable fragments. Rather unfortunate. It looks like they were damaged. But I can't help what goes on in the swamps.
They didn't happen to say anything else.
Thanks. When I asked them about their supply, they said that the majority of their supply was going to someone else and that they were just wondering about these particular fragments. I wasn't able to do anything with them, but seems like they already had a more expensive buyer. I did everything I could, but I still ship out and do what I can for business. And trust me, your items will sell for very much.
I nod.
Did they say what town or who the buyer was? Anything about the buyer?
No, they were being all stingy, and one of them, grabby little hands. Freaky, if you ask me, but who am I to say anything about my customers? All I know is they seem to be local and headed back off into the swamps. Never really said where they were going, but definitely didn't have much on them when they left.
Do you know if they tried to sell anyone else in town anything?
No one else does business like I do, my dear. I doubt anybody else is brewing potions and so forth, and if they are, it's fewer remedies.
Well, other than that business, any more unique?
You can think again. They
might
might have been going north, if I remember correctly. It seemed like maybe they were headed north, or maybe it was northeast. I don't remember, but
If you do run across them, and if they are selling the normal pieces, let them know to send them my way.
I will.
And gives a smile.
I want to do like a look around the store. I want to see if he has any more like interesting items, like he did like a jet or lightning. Maybe like a building.
It's only been a couple days.
Look, you never know who comes to town.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh,
14.
too.
Yeah. 14.
14. So you're looking for weapons, right?
That
Or just interesting.
just like anything that might catch my eye that I might need more herbs, any kind of crystally, mineral-y.
You take a look at the herbs, you take a look at the crystals. That particular selection hasn't changed. You get the feeling the supply currently is still being hindered by the weather. As you sift around, no new weapons have come in, but there is, in the back left, there is a small cubby, which you kind of noticed before, but it looks like it was recently stocked, and there are some scrolls in the back. Some scrolls and some books. You go through, begin looking at the different scrolls. And it seems that whenever you look at them, there is some kind of enchantment on some of the scrolls.
So am I going to know any of this? Like
You can make an Arcana check if you want. Nora, are you doing anything specific?
I was gonna buy some more vials.
23.
Okay, simple enough. You go and you purchase another. Do you get the thin ones or do you get the larger ones? Or a mix of both?
I like the medium ones, if there were any more. I think I cleared out of most of them.
He ended up getting some more. He kind of
I like the multi.
These ones actually do look the same. They're not the mismatched set. You get the feeling you probably got a new set right after you got cleaned out.
So I can get like 20?
Yeah, you can get 20 for probably like a single gold piece. Probably, yeah. And then you were looking at, what was your Arcana check?
23.
23. You notice one of them is familiar. It is the Arms of Hadar.
Okay.
You look at another one. It's weird. Whenever you look at it, the language kind of fades in and out as you're looking at the title. Make a religion check.
10.
10. You're not quite sure what the language is, but somehow you know part of it, but it's hard to
I'm gonna take
focus.
I'm gonna take that one with me.
Okay.
And then what about the other ones?
The other one looks also has that same kind of strange language that kind of fades in and out.
I'm gonna ask him about these.
Okay. You go over and you lay them out.
So
Is it
those
just
in there?
there was one other. There was one other one in there.
There's the Arms of the Nora, the 2 celestial ones, and what's the other one?
I
don't recognize it. I'm gonna take it with me.
The other one is in another language you aren't familiar with. It's hard to. Okay, you take it with you and lay out all 4 scrolls.
Okay, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm not sure what these are, but I'm attracted to these two, and I point to the two that I sort of couldn't
Sort of saw.
understand.
Okay.
Would you mind explaining what these are for me?
Yes, and he takes out his glasses again and sets them and squints and looks. Looks at the next. Looks at the other two and takes out his glasses, puts them back inside. And these two over here are this one. If someone has been deceased for a certain amount of time or a recent amount of time, you can actually glean information from them by using this. This one here is if someone has been afflicted by something kind of minor, perhaps they were poisoned or some other negative effect, might be able to help alleviate these particular symptoms. This one here, kind of holds it up as he runs his hand across it in very kind of a quick flick motion. There's a little bit of water that. This one helps you control one of the elements. This one happens to be water. And this one here, points, is can be a little bit nasty as the arms of Hadar. More of a self-protection.
Okay.
And spells you can only use once, right?
Mm-hmm. You don't use a spell slot. You read it, and if it's at your level, you can read it off. If it's higher than your level, then you have to roll for it. You have to roll.
DM question time.
Answer.
Okay. So the last one, the elemental one,
Yes.
what would that be considered? Like, could I use that if I bought this scroll? And like, so you said I have to be able to read the scroll off and able to use it.
Yes.
Do I only get to use it one time? Or is it just once per long rest?
You only get to use it once. It's a one-time use kind of thing.
Okay. So Nora said I was like, interested in becoming a cleric and stuff and things, and do all of them get the books? No, that's no, that's the traplet, right? That's not. I don't remember. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in the two.
Shoot, I lost it. You would be able to use it, yes. But whenever you look at it, you get the sense that this is a very advanced kind of spell. So it might be a while before you get to use it.
Okay.
As you look at it, you kind of feel an energy that seems to indicate that you could possibly use it. But it would take
the two
training.
Or all three of them.
The water, and the other two, yeah.
Okay.
All three of them, and then the other one with the arms of Hadar, but you already know that.
I already have that.
Yeah.
So I don't technically need that, right?
Technically, no.
Okay.
But you could use that instead of expending a spell slot.
Let's see how much they cost. I'm like, so how much are you selling these for?
Well, these just here came in, fresh off the press. The arms of Hadar I could sell for 300 gold pieces, as this is a very good defensive kind of spell, or offensive, depending on the circumstances, and can leave a rather nasty mark depending on who's entered. He points to the water. He's like, this one here is actually a much more difficult thing to kind of control. And it can also be very powerful and very useful if need be. I would put this closer to 550 gold. And he looks at the next one, the one that can help with afflictions. And he's like, this right here, definitely very valuable. I hear it cures hangovers, which in of itself is fantastic.
Okay, DM.
Yes.
This one right now, like cured hangovers is not really what I'm. So like, does it do?
This is how he's describing it.
Okay, so like, what could it? Please, because hangovers is not going to sell me on it. So I'm afraid.
Isn't this like a temporary speak with ghosts?
No, this is the one. It said like it could like. That's the other one.
Okay. I tuned out this. Okay.
And you touch, you can end a disease or a condition afflicting it, including blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. So if someone is one of these particular things or something kind of very similar to it, it would make it go away.
Okay. Okay. How much?
Now this one right here is again a little bit trickier. This right here would probably go for 600 gold pieces.
And the last.
The very last one is very special. You end up getting, I believe I heard some people say that you get to ask the dead 5 things. I'm kind of thinks for a sec and calculates in his head.
Sorry.
Yes.
So the same dead thing, 5 things, or maybe
The
5
same,
different
the
things?
same dead thing, 5
Okay,
things.
just
The same. The way he says it is, you get to ask a dead thing 5 things.
okay.
A dead thing 5 things.
Okay.
I would probably put this at 650 gold as well. They're expensive, but can be very handy in a pinch.
A nod. I can't remember how much was he selling his healing potions for. Does he only have the light ones?
He has well, you can ask him.
Another question. Your healing potions.
Yes.
It was 55
Yes.
for your smaller, lighter ones.
Yes.
How much for a medium?
You're talking about the next grade up.
Yes.
That right there would be 275 gold pieces. Managed to get a really good deal on this particular batch when I was brewing them.
And then for your strongest.
I don't have any strongest, mind you, but that usually runs upward of 850 gold. Which, Nora, when you hear this, it sounds very similar to the one that was tossed to you.
Damn.
Man, I should have kept it. I'm stoking.
What?
Okay. Let me do math for 1 second. You want okay, you already bought your stuff.
Yeah, I already brought my things.
Zoom is just looking around at all of the different elements. He sees one of the scrolls and he kind of he opens it and he kind of looks at it. This one, it doesn't look like it's enchanted or anything, but he kind of looks at it and he gets a sad look on his face and he takes it and rolls it up and kind of puts it back.
Okay, so Nora, you all get 481 gold.
481.
Like splitting it out. Splitting that out. I'm trying to see how much gold I had to see what I could buy.
Oh, splitting it 3 ways?
Yeah, I split it between me, you, and Sid.
480. Yes.
400.
You said 481, and the number on your screen says 485.
Yeah, that's because I was trying to see what to divide by. A little
Do you
bit.
keep
It's
track
too
of
less.
Zoom? You do? Okay.
Yeah.
He
400.
so far he hasn't really needed to use it.
Yeah.
He hasn't wanted to buy anything. He makes a lot of his own things.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot of extra. With that little insert, you can easily afford
Yeah, that's
a scroll. But scrolls are, you can only use them once. It's like.
I know, it's like.
But the cost to enchant a scroll takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't do that to scrolls.
Oh, no memory on space.
Did most of the work. I did have you skin it, but
I killed it.
you're the one who killed it, so take
Okay.
whatever you want.
Okay.
Fine by me.
Are we having fun now?
Oof.
Yes.
I like having money, is what I like.
I'm just sending you guys on an entire emotional roller coaster. Finally, ending on a high note.
awesome! I'm in such a good mood. Like, I don't feel guilty for making Tal'el wait in suspense to happen to his village. No sickening feelings whenever the village is dead, or whenever people are dying, or whenever things are going wrong. It's good. We're making money.
Okay.
That's nice. Oh, wait, I need to restart this.
I'm sorry, that's all I think about how much money I want to spend.
That's okay. Oh, this one said. I'm gonna look at the scroll that Zoom looked at, just perusing what made him sad.
You open it and you look through. It's just a simple folktale. You know,
Oh,
you see the farmer run, and yeah, it's very very simple scroll.
he's like, oh, so sad. People read at this level. Like, no.
Maybe you can't read. But neither you're right, because the DM looks guilty.
He can't read. He doesn't know how to read. Oh,
Okay.
teach him how to read. I'm gonna buy the scroll. The story scroll. He needs to know how to read.
You go over and you put it down.
My days.
I'm just gonna buy one
That'll be
medium
fine.
strength health potion. One medium strength health potion.
Wonderful, wonderful. And he goes over and unlatches it and sets it in front. You do
And I
the
slide him the
exchange.
gold.
He takes it back. And
Okay.
any of these scrolls interest you?
I do, but I'm afraid I'm not able to use them.
If
at
you're going to
this
be out
time.
fighting manticores,
Well, sadly, they won't be of any use to me until I'm further my education.
that's very unfortunate. You can always take a chance. No.
I'm sure once I do, I might pass through here again.
There's no guarantee they'll be here. I'm going to give you a little wink.
Well, I still have until tomorrow to think about it. Alright, I'm good.
Alright,
That's
I'm
all
good.
I'm good.
We're good. We got all the ingredients that we could.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. We got sunflower.
Yeah.
And
You
smile.
see Zoom going over and he's kind of looking at this one sword and he's swinging it. And kind of,
I'm gonna teach him how to sword fight!
he looks at it for a second and then he sees the crossbow that he was playing with last time. He kind of puts the sword back and looks back at the crossbow and in the back.
I'm gonna kind of walk over to him. Can I walk? Is he while he's doing that?
As you're calculating and doing all of this, this is the chibi stuff that happens in the background. As different things are happening, he's stalking through. But you do turn around and you see him kind of eyeing it. He's kind of looking, kind of puts it back.
I'm gonna kind of walk over and be like, "If you want it, you can have it." I'll link with him. I'll say in link. Sorry.
It's nice, but it's very flashy. And it's a little bit bulky for my tastes. I just like looking at it.
Well, anytime you want to use mine, you're more than welcome.
And yours is nice. But he kind of looks at that one. It looks like it was polished recently. It's got like nice wax on the bone. Just kind of looking like it's just really cool.
Did I see him playing with the sword?
No, not at the time. No.
I would say, well, if you ever want to trade in your bow for a sword, I'd be more than happy to teach you.
No.
Quite a bit of fun.
I believe that, but I'm not as strong as I'd like to be. I'm faster than I am strong.
There's
Looks
attacks for
around.
that as well.
Head kind of cocks. You hear that?
The fuck am I not hearing? Perception check. What is that?
16.
16.
I wouldn't get prompted.
I mean, you're probably walking
Passive
nearby.
perception?
Passive.
Her
Yeah,
passive
yeah.
perception is higher than my perception roll.
You would probably hear with your passive perception as you're kind of perusing, kind of looking at the crystals. You hear.
He bought a fairy.
He did not.